What is the promise of this movie?
The whole lead up, I think before it started coming out, like the press tours and stuff like that, like she was like, it's an adaptation, like it's an adaptation. And now that like the movie has come out, everyone's just like, it's not an adaptation. And when they released the poster, when they saw that there's quotation marks,
I swear those quotation marks weren't there.
You feeling good? You feeling nervous?
I think so. I feel nervous.
Yeah. That's fair.
I'm like, I don't want to be not me.
Yes.
But there's cameras looking at me from 2 angles.
Yeah, which neither of us do this. Like, Jess is always behind the camera. If I'm doing something, I try not to be in front of the camera. I try to make it like a voice or... Yeah, that's really it.
I'm excited, though.
In person. Yeah. I am too.
This is a good thing. I think one of my favorite things in life is the post-movie debrief.
Yes.
And that is the goal with this, is we want to share our love for movies.
It is. And also, I want everyone to know my opinion about everything at any given time.
True.
It's kind of, I'm a man in that sense that I think I do deserve a podcast.
You do. Absolutely.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Jess.
And I'm Grace. Anything you want the audience to know about you? You don't have to tell them anything. We can be secrets.
I'm mysterious.
I'm not. No. So we started this because we like the post-movie debrief.
Correct.
We think that everyone should hear our car conversations. I think they're kind of fun.
We have the best takes.
Sadly. Hot takes from 2 people that the world don't want to listen to. A ginger and... and me. Fill in the blank.
We are A-listers.
We are.
This is important to know.
Yeah, that's really important to know.
Part of the AMC A-Lister Club.
You want to explain that a little bit for the people who don't know?
So for those who don't know, AMC A-Listers is an exclusive club that costs you $25.99 a month.
In our state.
Yes, I think it's more expensive in New York and California.
Yeah, a couple of states have it worse.
But it gives you access to 4 movies a week, which is incredibly economical.
When I go not to an AMC, oh my god, this is so obnoxious. AMC sponsor us. When I go not to an AMC, I spend like $15 a ticket, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, you go see 2 movies a month and it's made up for itself.
It pays for itself.
For itself.
That's our catchphrase.
I feel like it is incredible, though, because I can go see the movies I've been eager to see, the ones I've been anticipating, but I also get to see all the other ones that either were maybe lower on the totem pole for me or ones that I was completely unaware of.
Yes. I definitely watch. I watched the Primate movie, I think twice, just because I had A-List. And that movie, I would never watch a chimpanzee horror movie. Because I did watch, which one was it? Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch Nope?
I have seen Nope, yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Primate was inspired by somebody who watched Nope. And that one scene in Nope, spoilers, Nope's been out for years. You get spoilers. But there was that one scene where the chimpanzee attacked everyone on like this beloved kids TV show. And I'm pretty sure the people who made Primate were like, yeah, that's a good plot. And they decided to make a chimpanzee horror movie. I do recommend watching that if you want to be a part of, like, that's going to be a cult classic. Easy. In terms of bad horror movies.
Yes. Bad horror movies.
Bad horror movies.
What is your favorite horror movie?
That's kind of hard. I think, okay, my favorite horror movie is going to be It, the 2017 version, only because it's the first horror movie that I actually watched. And I was not into horror ever. Like my parents,
later in life.
Very late in life.
Horror.
Yeah. Since I'm ancient.
I was not trying to age Grace.
No, but my parents didn't really watch horror. They didn't think I'd be into it. I would read horror novels. I read a lot of like Mary Downing Hahn, stuff like that. Like the horror for kids. I never read like the Goosebumps, really. Mostly because it wasn't scary enough, I think. Like, I always saw those as like a little like cheesy, but maybe I didn't give it a chance. But yeah, I think it would have to be It Part 1, Chapter 1, whatever they ended up calling it. Because that's when I decided I liked horror. I was like, wow, this feels insane.
I did it for you.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is a crazy feeling.
Yeah.
I think I need to
It's
to
a good
chase it.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say that's a modern classic. It was an excellent remake.
They had some like great child actors. Like, I did not think child actors could be that good.
I always wonder, child actors in horror films, how that casting process goes and how aware are they of what they are participating in.
I worry for them just a little bit. Like, the younger they are. I think the It kids were like old enough that it wasn't like a really big deal. They had one, I think the one character had like a little sister or a little brother. I don't remember now. I do worry for like the really young ones, like the ones that are like 6 and below. I do hope that they adapt and like make it like a different type of thing, but who knows? I'm not in charge. So, okay, yeah. So we talked about AMC A-List. Do you have a favorite horror movie before we move on?
I'd say either Poltergeist or The Shining.
Okay.
And those were also my first horror movies as well. So there's a sense of nostalgia.
Yeah, you watched those in theater when they came out?
I'm a dinosaur.
I'm kidding.
No, but those were ones I watched with my dad.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
A special place in my heart.
Yeah, we both like horror. I think we both watch a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
We read a little bit of everything. We're very... I don't feel like I stick to genre.
Nope, I don't
very
either.
much. But so before we go into the movie, we usually spend our... That's part of the reason why we made this, right? We like to spend our car ride just talking about whatever's kind of bothering us or making us happy with the world. So that's going to be the first half of this video. Is us talking about what's poppin', which is a little popcorn pun. I'm a born-again hater.
What do you mean?
I'm like so, like, brain's a little bit broken. I think everything's embarrassing and...
Oh, I'm humiliated right now.
Exactly. And so puns have a special place in my heart for like giving me hives. But I think it's cute at the same time. Like, I think like if somebody was doing this and I was listening to it, I'd be like, oh, that's cute. So I'm trying. But this week I'm forcing a topic upon Jess. Have you been watching any of, or like tuning into, not really watching, but I say watching it as in like TikToks. But have you been tuning into any of like the Wuthering Heights drama?
Ooh, I have a tiny bit. And this is purposeful because I knew we would be coming to see it and I didn't want it to influence my opinion either going in or coming out.
Yeah.
I wanted to go in with a clean slate. So.
And you're stronger than
tiny
me.
bit. Grace is chronically online.
It's absolutely sickening. The things that I'm going to talk about, like, you should just listen to this or watch this podcast simply to like stay in tune with what's going
Current
on
events.
in the world.
Grace understands the zeitgeist, unlike any person I know.
Not to toot my own horn. But I've been tuned into this Wuthering Heights drama since they dropped the casting.
Yeah. I was aware of that.
Yeah, quite a while ago. The biggest thing is Jacob Elordi's a white man. And like,
wait, did you read the book?
No. Okay. I did not read the book. And so this isn't me making like a book reader assumption or whatever. Like, this is just me kind of like reiterating what the people are mad about. So Jacob Elordi is playing Heathcliff and everyone pulls these quotes from the book that I haven't read. I'll admit that. I don't think I'm ever going to read Wuthering Heights. Just I'm not a romanticism girly.
Okay. Unless it's Dracula.
Unless it's
She
Dracula.
loves Dracula.
I love Dracula. Different topic for a different day. Maybe we'll have like a vampire day if there's another vampire movie coming out soon. No, okay, so everyone's a little bit upset because Jacob Elordi is a white man and Heathcliff is, like, canonically a person of color. They describe him as, like, dark, Romani, a different amalgamation of features. Like, I think that his racial identity is a little bit up for debate based on the books.
There's some ambiguity there for sure.
Yeah, but my problem is when everyone asks Fennell, I think, actually.
The sound of Fennell. I don't know if it's right.
I think it's Fennell.
Right.
Like, I keep having to correct myself because I think there was actually, like, an interview where, like, Jacob or somebody called her, like, Fennell. So,
well, names are important.
yes. But it does look like Fennell, which is why that's my initial response. But Emerald Fennell, when asked, hey, why did you cast a white man for Heathcliff? She responds with the most obnoxious response, in my opinion. Have you seen her responses?
I have seen a couple.
Like, there's this one interview that really sticks out to me. I think it's, like, on a red carpet of sorts, and they're asking her, they're sitting there, they're like, hey, like, what made you, like, reimagine Heathcliff as, like, a white person? She's like, well, this movie is, like, my fantasy, and that's what I fantasized about. Like, I fantasized him being, like, a white man. Which is just, like, no offense to Emerald Fennell. Hope she never sees this. I liked Saltburn. But that's just... There's so little characters of color, especially in historical novels. And to, like, sit there and say you erased their history for no other reason than you only fantasize about white men.
And like, if you aren't familiar with Emerald Fennell, she did Saltburn as well as Promising Young Woman, I believe.
Yes.
Phenomenal filmmaker, very white, as is most of Hollywood.
Yes.
So I was not surprised that was her response.
I wasn't either. I also found out that apparently, do you remember Bad Cinderella? That it got
I don't think I ever saw it, but it sounds vaguely familiar.
It was on maybe Broadway or, like, maybe off Broadway. It was a play.
Yeah.
It went viral because when they were announcing it, the lead actress in it was standing up there saying things. She's like, this isn't just a Cinderella story. This is Bad Cinderella. And then she turns around and she she takes, like, a spray paint can and she, like, sprays the B, and then she looks back. And then there's the A, and then she does the D. And apparently, Bad Cinderella is based off of, like, a book that Emerald Fennell wrote.
Interesting.
So, like, she is pretty in... And I could be lying. I will fact check this and then we'll put in a little. But this is what I found out not long ago. So she has been around some pretty, like, controversial, not, like, controversial in, like, a bad way, but just, like, controversial in, like,
figures.
Yeah, like, in a, like, a respect way, maybe. Like, I loved Saltburn. Like, Saltburn changed my movie-going life. That bathtub scene, I said, I get it. But she, like, Saltburn got a lot of hate. I feel like people did not like that movie. It made people really uncomfortable.
I feel like I really was in the middle of the road with Saltburn. Visually, incredible, extremely, like, stimulating. Like, the images, and I'm expecting Wuthering Heights to be the same.
Me too.
Character development, phenomenal. Did I actually really care about the story? Questionable. And I feel like that's why I was like, I didn't love it, I didn't hate it.
I watched Saltburn. I watched Saltburn twice, I think. I watched it with a couple friends, and then I took another set of friends because I was like, everyone has to see this. And I appreciated it the second time around because all, like, the seeds that were laid from, like, the end of the movie. Spoilers. Saltburn's been out for years.
I haven't seen it.
I think my spoiler timetable is going to be, if it's been out for over a year, I'm going to spoil it.
That's fair.
But Saltburn is, like, it has, like, similar themes of like somebody who is from like poverty or like an impoverished. That's kind of like the lie that he's like laying out, I'm pretty sure, from the movie. It's been a while, but a lot of people were like, oh, it's like Parasite in terms of like there's nothing about it is like but in terms of like, oh, it's this character like clinging on to these rich people, trying to get,
I can see
that whole thing, but then like I'm pretty sure at the end the reveal of that one is like he wasn't poor, he didn't have like this drug addict family, he was just doing it because he's
I don't
crazy.
know if I really cared, because I was like, these are just awful people.
And so it was just awful people, awful things happening to awful people.
That's what Promising Young Woman is, awful things happening to women.
And I'm pretty sure Wuthering Heights is about to be the same thing, like awful things happening to awful people. I did shout out to a podcast called Zero to Well Read. That is where my Wuthering Heights knowledge comes from. They review big classic novels. Not review, but like they talk through it. And so really, I don't need to read Wuthering Heights. Oh my god.
Today we're seeing Wuthering Heights.
If I'm not careful with my speech, my W's get real messed up.
It's cute. I like that. To your point, though, that Heathcliff was cast as a white man, I have read the book. The Brontë sisters are actually one of my favorites. As far as classic literature goes, I think their stories are beautiful and haunting.
Yes.
It is a dark romance. I do think, had she cast a person of color as Heathcliff, this movie would have felt really different and not necessarily in a good way.
Yes.
So I am curious to see how it plays out on the screen.
Apparently she wanted to remake a kind of popular, not old, it wasn't based on a book, I don't believe, and they told her no.
Oh, interesting.
And so she went and did Wuthering Heights and just made it just like that remake that she wanted to do. That's the rumor.
Interesting.
That I heard is that like she was trying to remake something else and she didn't get the green light for that, and then took Wuthering Heights and just kind of like ran with it.
Okay.
And I'm okay with things not being true to the source material as long as that's part of the promise.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's part of the promise of this movie, technically. Like,
what is the promise of this movie?
The whole lead up, I think before it started coming out, the whole lead up of like the press tours and stuff like that, like she was like, it's an adaptation, like it's an adaptation. And now that like the movie has come out, everyone's just like, it's not an adaptation. And when they released the poster, when they saw that there's quotation marks,
I swear those quotation marks weren't there. I was like, is it Mandela effect? Is that what it's called? Where I'm like, I don't think those were there before, because I didn't notice it, and I was like, this is not the book. I was sitting in a theater with my parents on Thanksgiving Day when the preview came out, and I was like, ooh, this is really steamy, and then it just kept going, and then it said Wuthering Heights, and I was like, that is not the Wuthering Heights I read in high school. Like, I do not remember it being like this. And I swear there were not quotation marks.
And so, but everyone's like, the quotation marks mean that it's not an adaptation, like it's just called Wuthering Heights. And so I just think,
so what is the promise?
I don't know what the promise is. That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi.
It's Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. Like,
being
the promise
extremely sensual.
Yes. And I'm Margot Robbie might be an Emerald Fennell self-insert. Like, that is the rumor. Jacob Elordi has been in a couple of these movies. But I don't know what the promise is. And that's, I think, what the audiences are clamoring for is like, what is the promise of this movie? And we're not being given anything. And that, I do think, I don't know, I think when it comes to art and artistic expression, I think it's okay if the audience doesn't get what you're promising. But I do think you have to have something behind it. Right? Like, that's what the whole argument about AI art is. AI can like come up with this beautiful picture, right? Beautiful picture.
Beautiful picture.
But like it's meaningless because there's nothing behind, there's no promise behind it, there's no truth behind it. And so
I feel like she's had something to say in her previous works, so I'm curious to see what the message is here.
Yeah,
if there is a message.
I do think I'm gonna enjoy it. I think I'm gonna come out of it and I'm gonna be like, wow, Emerald Fennell. But I almost wish like it was the movie she wanted to make and not like Wuthering Heights. I think that's what the internet has been saying.
I did say I've been avoiding a lot of the commentary on Wuthering Heights because I really wanted to go into this with a fresh perspective. I did see a video though, and somebody was suggesting that her impression was that Emerald Fennell saw the romance, like the Harlequin romance book covers from like the 80s and 90s that I feel like our moms read, and that's the Wuthering Heights she made, was that like man with the shirt off and the like woman's hair like billowing in the wind and like boobs out, like that was her inspiration, which would make a lot of sense if maybe she read this book when she was 14 years old and had a book with one of those covers. It probably didn't have a person of color on it.
Yeah, highly likely. I think, I don't know. It's interesting. I can see the excuses, but I just think, I don't know, the year of our Lord 2026. We got to be a little bit better. Trump is president. Sorry. You can bleep that. Blank is president. I hate that man. In case you don't know where I stand.
No, because of the current climate, we have to anticipate the way art is going to be perceived and then make intentional choices that combat it. It requires a little extra effort. So I think that was already like a little bit of a disappointment. But Jacob Elordi is hot, and I am excited to see this. Unfortunately, this is gonna be a really steamy, really hot movie. He's kind of her muse.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised that he's in this.
You know, Kissing Booth also changed my life. So.
Wait, was he in Kissing Booth?
Yes, he was the guy in Kissing Booth. He was in all three.
What is the name
of
all movies? The actress who's
Joey King?
Joey King. I wish I could love Joey King, but I can't because the first thing I saw her in was the Gypsy Rose.
Unfortunately,
that's the only thing I can see her as.
Unfortunately, that's also like her magnum opus. Like I don't think she's been in anything better than that. Joey King, if you're watching this, sorry.
You have an opportunity to prove us wrong. Also, Joey Queen. Joey Queen. Joey King, what are you doing listening to us?
Respectfully. What else was she in? She was in a dystopian Pretties. Uglies.
Yes.
It's not called Pretties. It's called Uglies. She was in Uglies.
I couldn't finish that one.
It was
bad.
I did start it. And I don't know if it was her fault.
I don't think it was hers. Lucky Blue was in it.
Yeah.
You don't know. It was Nara Smith's spouse and also went to my middle school with me. He was a grade below me.
Wow.
That's my claim to fame. That's about as cool as I get.
1 degree of separation.
No, I couldn't finish that movie though.
No, it was really bad. I don't think I read the book. I think that was like the dystopian book I missed. Okay. I read all the rest of them. I probably would.
I still have my quad, the set of all 4 of them.
Yeah, maybe
I don't know why I called it a quad.
Well, quartet, I think.
Quartet?
I think that's, well,
what would you call the Twilight series? Because there's 4 books for that, right?
They're 5 movies.
Oh,
you know what? I'm thinking about Midnight Sun.
She goes to the movie, she doesn't read the book. Does she even read?
Can she even read? Ooh. Jess? After we talk about, anyway, I won't ruin your reputation online. No, but I was thinking about, they call the Twilight a saga, but
saga.
Yeah.
Ugly saga.
I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
I think you get to kind of decide. There's a book quartet called The Winter's Promise.
Okay.
And that one's French, and it's a French translation. It's really, really good. If you want like a weird fantasy dystopian-esque book
have it
series.
on my Kindle.
It's really good. I loved that series. But they call that a quartet. It's like the Winter's Promise Quartet or something like that, which is where I stole that word from. But yeah, I think that's what's popping for me right now. Wuthering Heights is kind of big.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to most, or like what are your expectations going into this?
In the movie, I'm just expecting something ridiculously sexy. Like Saltburn was hot, you know, like
Yeah.
despite being weird, but I also think like that's part of like the draw of Emerald's work, is that it's just like so bizarre. Like you're like who could think of these things, but then it's like you're watching it and you're like I'm enjoying what's
consuming
happening.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think it's gonna be a good movie. I just struggle with the adaptation part, right? Like I think there's a certain respect that we owe authors that we
especially
really,
female authors.
yes, that we rarely get with movies.
Yeah.
Movies are really unkind to the source material, and that's like one of my biggest gripes of all time. So I will defend it, even if I don't read Wuthering Heights.
I have mentioned this to you before too. I think marketing for this movie potentially could have gone better if they had chosen a different title.
Yes.
However, I do wonder if it was a little bit of a publicity stunt in a way that it created a lot of buzz and a lot of opinions and got people to the theaters, which I can't complain about because I do want people to go to the theater.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
My last thing before we transition, because it's almost movie time, but you remember Wicked and that whole press tour?
Yeah.
With Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo in there. They were in there holding space for each other. But it's very clear that Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie are trying to recreate that. They got like matching rings.
Have they?
She like said that for Valentine's Day he like filled her room with roses.
I did see that.
She's married. Like they're very clearly like trying to like also sell their chemistry, and I don't believe them.
I feel like I can buy it on screen when I saw the preview.
I
But
can
in
buy it
real
on
life,
screen.
Like I'm like, you're mature enough for this. I didn't like that about the Wicked tour. Like I did not buy it. It did not feel genuine.
Maybe we'll talk about Wicked next week, because that there's a lot going on there that I think is very clear and behind the scenes that I do think that we should be able to address, but whatever. Yeah, like the Wicked stuff was very bizarre, but it got a lot of buzz.
It did.
And
I think it's a strategy.
Yeah, and that's a strategy. Comparatively, I will defend my HUDCon of Heated Rivalry fame, because I do think that they truly love each other. Like not in like a we're in love off screen, but
like a platonic.
Yeah, like they love each other, and
yeah.
like it's so much different than watching like Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, and it's different from watching Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. And you can tell like when people get off their shows and they like truly care for each other. Paul Mescal and Daisy Edgar Jones, they clearly had this closeness that like genuinely spawned off of that show, and I think it's rarer than like Hollywood wants us to believe. And they love selling the off-screen chemistry, which I don't think is real in a lot of cases.
They are actors, actresses.
Yeah.
So
like why
hard to know what's real.
Isn't Jacob Elordi like 20 years younger than Margot Robbie? Like she's not old, but like
no, but
they have a big
there's
a significant age gap, like,
which is trending.
Problematic age gap. Oh my gosh, if you're watching The Pit, I want you to know that I'm a Huckle Robbie truther. Problematic age gap yowie is so important to me. Huckle Robbie is Whitaker and Dr. Ravinovich, their ship name. Because he's called Huckleberry.
Yeah,
and then he's called Robbie.
Is this a spoiler? I haven't watched the episode from this week. So.
The episode from this week, it's episode 7 that came out. I checked my clock.
I love that you checked your clock to see which episode.
It was
insane.
But it helped me. It was episode 7 this week, and whatever they put into that script fed my Huckle Robbie obsession.
Okay.
Problematic age gap yowie. That might be the title of this episode, just to be misleading. But like it fed me as a shipper. So yeah.
Fantastic.
I took over that section.
Okay.
What are you looking forward to in the movie?
I am looking forward to the costumes and the set design.
Yes.
From what I have seen, I think it is going to be Poppin.
I think there's going to be really good
Yeah.
parts of it.
I think it looks really camp.
Yes.
Which is very much her style, but I think she's leaned into it even more, which I think is really interesting for a period drama.
Yes.
I can't think of any other period drama that's still set in a historic time period, but has a lot of like modern costuming and
Didn't
coloring.
they move this up though? Like it's not set when Wuthering Heights is. I think they moved it up a little bit. But I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out once we're in there. That's one thing that I saw spoken about a little bit. You're talking about the costuming. There was actually this article that came out. This is my last tangent, I promise. There was this article that came out a week or two ago, and they're like saying that period pieces don't owe you historical accuracy, which I do think is true. But then one of the things that they put on there was Sinners, which wasn't historically inaccurate at all. They put a lot of care into that costuming, and they pulled out that one of the twins had they called it a grill, but it wasn't a grill. It was just like a golden tooth implant, and that was historically accurate in the community at the time, especially like gangsters, right? Like that's what they were. And so that article got into a lot of flack for like saying like Sinners isn't historically accurate because they decided, instead of doing any of the research for this article, they decided to just like call out something that they saw and thought that it was wrong.
Interesting.
Which is a little bit disappointing because like
that is, we're both Sinners stans.
I'm a Sinner stan through and through. Like that's probably like truly my favorite horror movie.
Fantastic. Done.
And it's just like and it gets a lot of hate for
really.
A lot of hate. Not I've seen a lot of, but it's like
for awards. But
it's the snubs. Hate might be the wrong word, but like the snubs. The like inaccurate depiction. Like
I think a lot of people see it as a vampire movie, and there's so much symbolically that's happening.
Yes.
And is really important. I feel like I learned a lot just about like the history of blues.
Yeah.
And music.
I mean, there's just like a lot of misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Around the
that's
movie.
Fair.
That I think wouldn't be there if it was about white people.
Yeah. A little bit of a look ahead. The Odyssey is coming out this summer.
Yes.
And I've already seen a lot of buzz. People being extremely disappointed in the costuming choice.
Yes.
And I don't think that's fair. I don't think doing direct adaptations is fair to the source material necessarily.
No.
Or to present day artists. I think it's important that art evolves. One of my favorite books is Still Like an Artist, and that's the way art works. I'm sure you know this as a copywriter, and I know this as a wedding filmmaker, is that you take material and you remix it and make it your own. So I'm not buying into the idea that everything has to be historically factual.
I also need people to realize the Odyssey isn't history. And I think a lot of people think the Odyssey is real.
I think a lot of people get their opinions from TikTok too.
Yes. There's like a show, I can't remember what show it is, but in like the show, somebody gets a first edition copy of the Odyssey. And there's just like no such thing. And it just goes to
like
show,
on parchment.
Right. It just goes to show how like misconstrued, because that's ancient, right? Like the Odyssey is,
it's Homer.
It's the beginning of storytelling. Like I was an English major, right? Like we were like, okay, this is the history of words, and it's like here's the Canterbury Tales and here's the Odyssey, and it's just and like obviously that's Western words. I'm sure people of color did it earlier, but this is when white people learn to read. But like people like think like the Odyssey is true.
Yeah.
Like they mix up they mix it up with fact and fiction, which I mean, like that's just how our brains work too. Like over time we're gonna forget what's real, but not to get crazy. But yeah,
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. You
We'll
ready?
see you after the movie, after
Okay.
Wuthering Heights.
See you then.
Now we go see our movie.
We timed that. Not very well. So what'd you think?
I have a lot of thoughts.
Yes.
I did mention this briefly when we left the theater. I was like, we can't talk about it yet.
I know.
Saving it for the podcast. But
Yes.
overall, I had a lot of things I want to chat about.
Yes.
Feelings-wise, though, I'm not entirely sure I've processed it yet. I don't know how to feel.
Okay. Highlights. I thought the acting was phenomenal.
Yes. Agree.
I thought everyone kind of hit the mark. The later half of the movie felt like a more traditional period piece that I enjoyed. Like, it felt very Pride and Prejudice, you know, like something very familiar.
I'd say the third act definitely did.
Yes. Margot Robbie's really pretty.
Stunning. As a child actor, she's stunning too.
Yes. The child actors for this were phenomenal.
Great. Really well casted.
Yes.
I thought.
Also, lowlights for me. Okay. Lowlights. It was really dark.
Yeah.
I find movies that are too dark not enjoyable.
You mean like visibly dark?
Visibly dark.
Okay, I thought you meant like.
No, I love dark themes.
Okay.
Which I don't.
It's figuratively and literally.
It's
dark.
figuratively and literally dark, and I think that we need to stop doing that.
I was wondering if it was like a theater issue, because I noticed that as well. But then I was like, maybe it was an artistic choice.
I mean,
because the color grading was gorgeous.
Yeah, but
it was dark.
I'm getting kind of tired of the movies being so dark.
Squinting to see.
Like, and some scenes it like worked. It made sense for it, like where it's secret, things aren't.
It was
we're not
symbolic.
Supposed to see. Parts of it were symbolic.
Yeah.
But the first half of the movie was just really hard to see.
That's fair.
I was saying in my head, I was just like, wow, I would really love this if I could see what's happening. I think that it did not draw the line between absurdism and like whatever else it was doing strong enough. Like there was one scene when an alcoholic character was no longer around, and then they had like bottles of alcohol in the background.
You were giggling,
and I like laughed. I was like, that's so stupid. Because it didn't feel like it fit with the rest of what was happening. Like that didn't happen often enough.
There was like a dollhouse as a prop too, and I wish they would have either done away with either the mountains of bottles or the dollhouse, all of these like symbols, or really leaned into them and utilized them a little bit more.
Agreed.
Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes.
Okay, that's how I felt too.
They didn't play with it enough.
Yeah.
It's like that Chekhov's gun, right? If you're gonna introduce a gun, you better shoot it. And like it didn't feel like they were doing that.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
And I like weird movies.
I wish it would have been weirder.
And I wish it would have been weirder. I was watching near the end. I was like, wow, if this was doing the poor things thing, I'd be amazed.
It was leaning towards that, like the compositions and, like I said, the color grading, the way the film was shot. I thought that's the direction it may have gone. And I think the costuming nailed it.
Yes.
And
I thought the costumes were great.
The camera angles, the composition was really interesting. A lot of rules were broken.
Yes.
I did love that, but I wish they would have leaned in to it, because the plot was pretty simple. It's what I expected it to be, actually.
Yeah. I think they broke away from things that I didn't see coming. The way the movie ended in the book, that was like closer to like the midway point, and then like all of Heathcliff's drama was like in post. And this one, it's like it's what led up to her.
Yeah.
And everything. And so it's like I think it's a good way to adapt it. It was so bizarre.
As far as book to movie adaptation, this is going to be the last thing I think about this. Actually, two things. One, I feel like if she would have called it anything other than Wuthering Heights, there would have been
no.
pitchforks for plagiarism.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way,
Well,
I think that's a woman's plight, is they really can't win in these scenarios.
It's public domain.
Yeah.
You are allowed to do Wuthering Heights
Is that
without
the way it works?
Yeah,
Without
like,
acknowledging the...
without it being Wuthering
Okay.
Heights.
I think people still would have complained, though, because I didn't know that. I don't know if everyone else knows that.
Every 100 years, once it's at the
Yeah.
100-year mark, it's
Okay.
just in the public domain. You can do whatever you want with it.
Maybe I did know that, but
Mm-hmm.
that was my thought as far as that goes. Is I'm okay with it being called Wuthering Heights. It is not the same as the book,
Mm-mm.
but it's close enough that like it does not bother me. What I think she did really well in
Mhm.
comparison to the book is establishing a sense of place.
Mm.
Because anytime I read any of the Brontë sisters or any book really from that time period, there are literally chapters where they're just describing like the cliffs and the grass and how gritty and carnal life was back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we really got a sense of that throughout the movie.
Yes.
Through all the characters and like the dirt underneath their fingernails.
It was almost jarring.
It was gross.
Yeah.
Which she does in all of her movies, so
Mhm.
I was happy to see that. But I had that thought while we were watching. I was like, this is exactly how I felt reading the book.
Mm-hmm.
Is it feels yucky and desolate and scary, and I think life was really hard back then, and so
Yes.
it made a lot of sense to me. So
Yeah,
that was a big win for me.
I think that was really well done. I think what I didn't like about the place is that I could not figure out the layout of any of the houses. Like,
They said 5 miles away.
They said it was 5 miles away.
Sometimes it felt way further or way closer.
Yes, I was like, 5 miles on a horse can't be that far. And then also just like, Kathy's room was here. Heathcliff's room was here. How could he see through the window?
Yeah.
Like, things just felt very like everything moved to make the plot work.
Yeah.
More than
Maybe there's some plot holes.
I
Or
don't
maybe
think it
we
was-
just don't know.
I don't think it was an accident. Like, plot holes are accidental, right?
Yeah.
And so I do think things were moving around in that like absurdist, and I'm misusing that term. Don't worry about it.
We make stuff
I'm
up.
making my own definition. But like they were moving it around to like fit that absurdist
Yeah.
narrative. You know, it's like the walls are moving, everything's weird, whatever. And that I just don't think they leaned into it enough. It wasn't wild enough.
I felt that way a couple times. I know I said I liked the like costume and the set design, and it was like leaning towards maximalism,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't quite ever get there.
That was just a lot. And I also, oh my God, I've been seeing TikToks of people walking out, right? And they're like, that's the hottest thing I've ever seen. I need everyone to just go watch Heated Rivalry. Like, I'm so tired. Like, the sexy factor is the bar has been set aloft.
I feel like I actually like the level
I like the level
of like sensuality
of
in this movie.
what was happening.
Yeah.
I think the reaction to it is where like I'm just like everyone's bar is in hell.
Yeah, people's responses were interesting. I would not mind being lifted up by Jacob Elordi from my corset. That took my breath away.
Yeah, it did. I was like, Kathy was like,
grabbed.
literally, Kathy was like, put me down. I was like, why would you say that?
No, but I found it a really delicate balance of like being sensual and suggestive, like almost everything that was said and done in that movie.
Yes.
I kept on pointing to like Grace during a scene too. I was like, his hand, he's making a gesture. like everything felt so intentional on that front. But it wasn't ever like too much unless you were like I felt comfortable with it. I liked it. I thought it was good.
I liked everything that was going on. I don't know. I think too much happened in the lead up to the movie. I think it tainted so much of my opinion. I really don't know how I feel. I'm gonna say I liked the movie. I'll probably give it a 3 on Letterboxd.
Okay.
Maybe 3.5. But I think it didn't do enough. I think it should have just been a period piece, or it should have been more like Poor Things. Like,
it needed to lean more in like one of those directions, I think.
It felt very scared. But again, I'm not a filmmaker.
Okay, question. Because I had opinions on this before even seeing it, but going in, I don't see why they had to cast Heathcliff as a white person.
Okay, yes. There was one part when Kathy somebody was saying like Heathcliff has moved on, and she was like, he can't move on, like I own him. And that would have been so
Yeah, that could have
good
been.
if he weren't like a white man, you know? Like
Yeah.
that's the whole, and I'm sure that like there were a lot of like direct quotes from the book.
There were more than I thought there were going to be.
Yes. And so I'm sure that like leaned into part of the narrative in the book. And Kathy, the one thing that really grossed me out, I think, was like Kathy's ownership over him was so like carnal and like from a very young age, and like she manipulated him a lot.
Absolutely.
Which really broke my heart. But her saying like I own him, like he's mine, I named him, like that's part of that's part of like the thing,
that's part of
in the book,
you
know, like and so
it gives a lot of context to their characters.
It gives a lot of context to their characters. And
so you agree that someone else could have played that part?
Yeah, I think it did not need to be Jacob Elordi. I did think it was funny, they're both Australian, I'm pretty sure, and like both of them were doing like these British accents. But whatever, neither here nor there. I don't think it needed to be Jacob Elordi, and I do think it needed to be a person of color if they were going to lean into that that ownership, especially of the time.
Jacob Elordi could have been Mr. Linton.
What really made me uncomfortable a little bit in the narrative is that there's no bad guys. There are antagonists. Like Nelly was an antagonist, Mr. Linton was an antagonist, and they were the two people of color in the story.
That is really interesting.
Which you have to think about when you do that.
Yeah. I hadn't thought of that. I loved Nelly. I'm just gonna say this right now. I think she stole the show for me. Her and Isabella too.
Nelly's getting a lot of hate on the internet right now. Everyone said that she's bitch.
Why?
Because of everything she did in the movie. But like
I could totally see her stance of where was she supposed to go. I mean, she was manipulated by Catherine herself.
Where was she supposed to go? Oh my gosh, from such a young age, Sapphic. I'm sorry. Nelly was in love with her, and Catherine was like, oh, like you can never experience love. You'll never blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and it's like she had whatever was between Catherine and Heathcliff before Heathcliff came around was what was between her and Nelly. Yeah. Like very obviously. Those parallels are strong.
She chose someone else to lead
and she chose someone else. And I mean, like, she was never going to be able to be with Nelly.
And Nelly swallowed that pill and took it and
she
followed
did.
her around.
Yeah, she did. And
I didn't think Nelly did anything wrong.
Nelly is not a villain. She's an antagonist.
She's probably the nicest one in that movie. Her and Mr. Linton both, I think.
They put up with a lot. Oh my God, they put up with a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Without spoilers.
Without spoilers.
I do like Nelly.
Yeah.
Isabella
was kind of irritating.
She was kind of irritating, but it was an exceptional performance.
Yes. I don't know. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if I liked it. But I don't think I didn't like it.
Yeah, I still don't know how to feel.
Maybe I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
I think there could be a Venn diagram overlap between girls who love to scroll TikTok and especially ones that like do it for the aesthetics. And people who love this movie. Yeah. And were so moved by this movie. Because to me, this is not like one of the best films I've seen.
No. It's not even like the best Emerald Fennell movie.
No, it's not one I'm going to be thinking or talking about the way I have with many films. I do think that it was almost built for like a shorter, no, I don't want to be mean.
A shorter attention span?
That's what was I thinking.
You can say it.
It was what I was thinking, but I still enjoyed it. And I don't think there's anything wrong for wanting content that's like easily digestible and beautiful to look at, because that's what it was to me.
I think the Charli XCX soundtrack was so unnecessary.
I felt like they could have just used the instrumentals from her songs, and like,
yes,
the first time we heard her voice like belt out, like I was like, you needed to wait, like it was right after like a heated moment, and all of a sudden like her voice just started like screaming at us, and I was like I was so in the moment, and it took me out of the moment.
Yes, I think there were a couple of times when I found the soundtrack did not aid in the movie.
It distracted. It took away.
It was very distracting. So in the very like opening set, right, that viral TikTok sound, "I think I'm gonna die in this house," starts playing, and like nothing had even really happened yet.
Yeah.
Like,
They could have just used the instrumental version, and it would have been fantastic.
I think it's unfair to the soundtrack that song had already been like released, or at least like maybe it was in one of the trailers, or I don't know how TikTok got a hold of it, but I think it's really like it might have been better if that wasn't some viral video for the last like 6 months. Oh my god.
Yeah. It was great during the credits, and I actually have listened to the full album. There's all sorts of songs on the album that I was like thinking maybe it would be in the movie, and it really was just like the 2 or 3 that are on social media.
There were a couple.
So, keep your expectations low as far as that goes, but the rest of the music was great.
I thought some of the songs were really, really good. I think one that really took me out of it too was like when Kathy was just like going through some melancholy. Oh my gosh, there was one point too she was like, "We shouldn't get the morbs" or something like that. I was just like, oh my god. But she was just going through some melancholy, you know, as girls do. And the song starts going, "I'm so," like, it didn't actually say this, but it was like, "I'm so sad. Things are hard. I should be happy." And I was like, oh my god. I was like, how are you just going to feed that to us with lyrics?
Yeah. It was easily digestible content. I feel like that's something I don't appreciate in storytelling, because I'm like, duh, I could figure this out on my own. I don't need you to tell me. And I think that's a sign of good storytelling, is when you're able to show and you can feel as a viewer without having to be told, which is why I loved Hamnet so much.
Yes.
Because there was moments during that movie that I was sobbing and I didn't entirely understand why.
Yes.
Because it was a story that I could feel.
Yeah. I think I already feel very mixed about songs in movies with lyrics, you know? Like, I think it's usually too heavy-handed, or it's just not, it doesn't fit. And I think this movie would have been really well done if it was like all an instrumental soundtrack, like forcing us to feel these things. There were a couple songs where I thought like the lyrics were pretty good and pretty interesting, but the ones that stuck out were like the Charli XCX songs that I just did not feel fit the narrative.
I felt like the modern sound in some of her songs could have worked, but it was the lyrics that took me out of that time period, which is circling back to what we said earlier. Like, we wish she would have leaned in more to like, the time period.
It's either
or like the maximalist. Like, it could have worked, but I did not like the lyrics.
Yeah, I think they're just it wasn't strong enough in any one direction to make me feel like it worked.
It wasn't compelling enough. Yeah. It was,
Yeah. I really liked the third act. I think because I also think the third act calmed it all down. Like, they didn't do anything crazy. It was just like a really well done chunk of storytelling.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like that first act. I loved when they were children.
I think the pacing of the whole film was actually one of its strengths.
Yeah.
There was a couple of moments where I was like, oh, where is this going? But it picked up.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. I think they did a really good job. I loved like some of their like sequences of like the passage of time. I think we get really used to movies like skipping, or they'll like tell you like it's been 4 years or whatever. You could tell time was passing pretty fast, and they did have like montages, but it was slightly different, like an adapted montage. I feel like we got to check in with them a little bit more often. Like when Kathy was waiting for Mr. Linton to call, like that was who knows how long, but like you could tell time was passing, and I thought that was really entertaining, the way that was done.
I agree. I think there's some beautiful full circle moments too. Symbolically.
Yeah, I agree.
Without giving away spoilers. But there's some
spoilers.
Some moments that I think were done quite well. I have a question for you. One of the ways that I rate movies is based off of if I would recommend it to others, and if so, why. So I'm curious, Did you know that this is the question I was going to ask?
No, it just calls out how bad I am at having a rating system. My rating is pure vibes.
I'm happy to share it at some point.
Would I recommend this to somebody? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah. And if you would, who would you recommend it to and why?
I mean, I would tell you to watch it because I would want to talk about it. But I don't know. I don't think I'm going to recommend it to anybody. I don't think I'm going to like leave this place. And I mean, that's why I'm sitting at like the 3.5 stars, right? I thought there were good parts. I thought it was beautiful. I'm not walking out of this being like, everyone in my life needs to see it.
Yeah.
That's just not where I stand. And I think that is a little disappointing. Especially Saltburn set my standards really high. I walked out of Saltburn and I told everyone they needed to watch that movie.
That's fair.
Yeah, what about you?
I would recommend it to anyone who's interested in seeing it. I think if you're not interested in seeing it, it's not going to be for you. And if you do want to go see it, definitely go see it.
I definitely agree with that.
That's my take.
We lost some footage, but we wanted to have, I'm just going to tell the people.
Yeah, that's fair.
We lost some footage, but we wanted to talk a little bit about our last comments on just like the racial aspect of everything. Yeah. Because I do watch movies looking for how many people of color are in them because we're in such like kind of like a warped world. You don't even notice how many white people are in movies anymore, right? Like, absolutely. But you notice when there's an all like non-white cast and it's a whole big deal.
Bridgerton is a great example of that.
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah. And so what really changes the narrative, right, is like Mr. Linton and Nelly are like these people of color and they're like acting as antagonists. And we had said that with Heathcliff, Kathy like not being able to marry him and everything is just very, it changes with him being like a white guy, right? Like
without the context that he's a person of color, you lose that momentum in the story that it's not just about money that she can't be with him.
Yeah, it's not just about money. They even at one point she asks, he goes and gets money, right? And they're like, oh, it must be under like nefarious circumstances if you're not going to tell us. And like it that just doesn't hit when it's just like some white guy.
Yeah. And prior to losing some of their recording material, I think the biggest disappointment Grace mentioned was that she's disappointed in how Fennell has handled press on this topic.
I think her just kind of brushing it off, like not really having a decent answer. Like I'd rather her have like a written out answer that she memorizes and says the whole time versus like the one interview just really sticks with me. She's just like, I didn't fantasize about him that way. And it's like, that's weird. Like, that's a weird way to put it. Yeah. Part of the reason that they can't be together, right, is they're raised as siblings. And I heard on another podcast, I love podcasts. I heard on another podcast that when it had been published, the Brontë sisters had published under, like, pen names, androgynous names so that they would be seen as men, stuff like that. Women couldn't publish at the time. Right. The whole thing, Mary Shelley did it too. Like, it was the whole era. Every woman went through this. But after Emily had died, Charlotte had taken the book back and made some edits and published it back under Emily's name. And the rumor has it is that the edits that she took out were the things that made it so much more incestuous thing, and so it made it so that they had like a little bit more less sibling dynamic in the book, I believe, and that was like, rumor has it, these people can't sue me, rumor has it that that it was to cover up for Emily's own complicated relationship with her brother.
That's fascinating.
And yeah, their brother had like a lot of issues. He like spent all their money. He was addicted to alcohol, probably whatever drugs you can get at the time. Just like had a really hard relationship. But the Brontë sisters loved him. Like, it's very well documented, their affection for him. And so rumor has it it's a little bit more complicated and possibly incestuous.
That makes a lot of sense. Jane Eyre is one of my favorite books, and I can see a lot of parallels between all of the sisters' novels, quite frankly. It is dark, and it is dingy, and it makes sense that their personal lives are reflected in these books.
Yeah, there's like a level of like autofiction to, I think, a lot of like historic like media, right? Like write what you know.
True.
So, any last thoughts?
Any last thoughts? I'm excited to be doing this podcast.
Yeah?
I will say that, yes.
That's good.
There's growing pains. I'm learning how to be in front of camera and talk
Me too.
and be normal.
You've gotten into it like as we went. Like you've gotten very, very into it. So I think it'll be a good time.
I'm a little bit uncomfortable, but I do love movies. I love talking about movies. I love Grace. I think this is special.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great time.
I think it'll be cool.
What's the name of our podcast?
Our podcast name is Dashboard Discourse. Hopefully you know that because you're listening to it. But it is a good thing. I actually had that thought as we sat down in the theater.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we talk about this.
Yeah.
Dashboard because you're on our dashboard.
Quite literally.
Or maybe we're just in your ears. That's okay too. But
Yeah.
I heard video podcasts are in.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Watch us on YouTube. Maybe on Spotify if we can get it up there. That type of thing.
Yeah.
It'll be good for TikTok clips. Become
Absolutely
internet
right.
famous. Where I'm spreading
Misinformation.
Just kidding.
I'm the
About the Brontë sisters. Their estate's gonna sue me. But yeah.
Sounds good. anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. See you guys next time.
Bye, Dashboarders.
Bye. Wow, we already have a fandom name.